Prepare to uncover the shocking truth behind Lewis Hamilton's rapid decline at Ferrari, a team notorious for breaking its champions faster than its own cars. Ferrari seems to excel in all the wrong areas, moving so quickly they mentally destroyed Sebastian Vettel in just 4 years, ruined Fernando Alonso in 3, and Felipe Massa in another 3. Carlos Sainz was stressed out and fired in a mere 2 years. Charles Leclerc developed a severe case of post-traumatic stress disorder in a single season, and now, in just 2 races, Lewis Hamilton has been traumatized. Ferrari is so uniquely talented that they've made Lewis's already receding hairline recede even further. His barber will soon be cutting nothing but thoughts and prayers. All of this can be attributed to what we call aura farming. Aura farming is the act of attempting to look cool or formidable, to create memorable aura moments. It's a common practice in Formula One. Consider Max Verstappen pitting on the penultimate lap in Austria 2023 for an extra point, or Kimi Räikkönen famously refusing to swerve. These are unintentional aura farms that actually work. However, there are many instances where it goes spectacularly wrong. For example, Aston Martin's self-hype in 2024 only led to them repeatedly kissing barriers. The McLaren-Honda partnership in 2015 was slower than watching paint dry. Sergio Perez declared he could beat Verstappen in 2023, only to be comprehensively beaten by Red Bull instead. And, most recently, Ferrari posted the most heroic photos of Lewis Hamilton, only for him to be utterly crushed in just 2 races. I don't typically discuss Lewis Hamilton too often, as a single misstep can incite the wrath of Team LH. You're better off running than saying anything remotely critical. They'd likely correct you with, actually, he has 106 wins, not 105. Respect the name. As if that's the most pressing issue. But in essence, Lewis experienced immediate hell in his first 2 races for Ferrari. This included being out-qualified by Williams engineers, making one wonder if Ferrari is intentionally hiring the least capable, then achieving a sprint win only to be utterly crucified in the main race. A rather ironic detail from China. Lewis praised the car as perfect in the sprint, only for Ferrari to change the setup and make it significantly worse. He reported, "From the sprint race, we made these changes, and the car is terrible after that." As I've observed, the Ferrari experience is a constant loop of, "We are so back, it's so over." And this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's well known that Ferrari drivers must endure the 5 stages of grief to fully integrate into the team. It's akin to a cult initiation ritual, their version of baptism. Take Charles Leclerc, for example. 2019 was denial, saying, "Hi, I'm stupid." 2020 was anger, with shouts of "come on." 2021 brought bargaining, exclaiming, "I'm so disappointed." 2022 descended into depression, and by 2023, he reached acceptance. "I don't think anymore now. I stopped thinking a long time ago." This transformation typically unfolds over 5 painful years. For Lewis, however, he experienced all 5 stages of Ferrari grief in just half a season. Let me break down Lewis's rapid progression through these stages. Stage 1. Denial. In Miami, Ferrari finished behind Williams. Charles was visibly dead inside, but Lewis was hyped, sporting a wide smile. This poor, untraumatized man refused to believe that an 8th-place finish was disappointing, despite driving a car that looked like a rubber eraser. Just look at Charles. There was no light in his eyes. That shine was purely the work of the makeup team. Then came Stage 2. Anger. A month later, Lewis finished 6th in Spain, after being overtaken by Nico Hülkenberg in what resembled a jelly bean, and he was absolutely furious. When asked what he took from the triple header and how much he learned about the car, his frustration was palpable. "Honestly, if I were in a Ferrari and a pickle overtook me, I'd be enraged too." Stage 3. Bargaining. As early as race 10, Lewis was simply grateful for anything above 10th place. He expressed, "I'm really, really grateful, so I'll definitely take it." Stage 4. Depression. I barely need to elaborate. Just observe his demeanor. It's incredibly painful. It's turning out to be a pretty bad weekend so far. I don't know. And finally, Stage 5. Acceptance. In Hungary, Lewis qualified 13th but found himself battling Max Verstappen for 11th and 12th place, while his teammate was in fourth. Just like that, the Ferrari initiation was complete. He quietly stated, "I'm just useless." When prompted to repeat, he reiterated, "I'm just useless." This team actually managed to get a 7-time world champion to call himself useless. It's official. Scuderia Ferrari messes with 40-year-olds harder than insurance companies. Now, let me put on my detective glasses and identify who is responsible for Lewis's mental breakdowns. One name that repeatedly surfaced was Riccardo Adami, a man widely considered among the most incompetent race engineers in Formula One. Notice how they are all wearing red. This Riccardo, not the cool one, is Lewis's new race engineer. Here's a list of some of his most notable achievements. He once told Carlos Sainz to pit while he was actively battling Sergio Perez, to which Carlos responded, "Not now, not now, not now." He takes an eternity to formulate a strategy. When asked what happened, his response was, "We are not ready. Wake up, guys. Come on." He gave Carlos the wrong tires in a heavily wet race, leading to confusion. Repeat this new. Which is this? Hello? He provided us with an iconic line that effectively means, "We don't know what we're doing. We are checking, and we are checking that. Okay, we are checking. We are just checking. We are checking. Okay, we are checking now." And he repeatedly gave Lewis the same instructions over and over again. K1, may you close. K1 available, Lewis retorted. Yes, I know. Leave me to it, please. Sock 9 suggested. Sock 9. Lewis's frustration mounted. Stop talking to me while I'm in a battle, man. Geez, you're repeating yourself. You know that. You're repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself. You know, no. At this point, I'm convinced Riccardo Adami is so bafflingly inept that Ferrari hired him purely for tax relief. I also had high hopes for Brian Bossi, who replaced Charles's former, disgraced assistant, Xavi, only for him to prove just as ineffective. This is how I imagine a Ferrari engineer answering an F1 strategy quiz online. It's not a walrus, right? No, it's clearly not. And yes, it gets worse than this. In Monaco 2025, Lewis became furious with Adami for taking ages to decide on strategy. You're not answering the question. It doesn't really matter, sir. Yes. But when Lewis spoke again, Adami simply ignored him. Are you upset with me or something? All I can say is, Ferrari, if you need a replacement, I'm available. I'd be a great engineer. No, you won't. Who said that? Thankfully, this battle isn't entirely one-sided. Lewis still fights back with the little soul he has left. He secured fourth-place finishes in Imola and Silverstone, races where even Charles struggled. So, he's clearly still capable of performing. It's just significantly more challenging when your team is constantly making things difficult. Ferrari's operational challenges seem to hinder its drivers more effectively than any rival team. Ideally, Ferrari should be the least of Lewis and Charles's problems. There are still McLaren, Max Verstappen, RB, Mercedes, Aston Martin, teams all over the place that are hungry for wins. Yet Ferrari is busy debating whether pineapple belongs on pizza. It's also clear that Lewis joined Ferrari because of Frederic Vasseur, who is himself reportedly struggling with rumors of being fired whenever the team underperforms. And doesn't that look absolutely epic that Ferrari? It's beyond human comprehension why the Tifosi would constantly switch their team principles, as if that was going to work after the previous 5 attempts. What are you looking for? There's no pot of gold down there. Adjusting the seat. Really? That's been your problem the whole time. The seat height. So now you have it. Right. The more you examine it, the more you realize Ferrari is quite similar to Red Bull. They frequently replace staff, take decades to address fundamental issues, have golden boys they would sacrifice anything for, and traumatize their drivers. Ferrari and Red Bull are like two dumpsters racing each other to see who smells worse, only to get hit by cars, flattened by a giant, struck by lightning, and crushed by a satellite. But speaking of Ferrari's golden boy, Charles Leclerc, he also presents an obstacle for Lewis, though not in the way you might expect. Charles can be a rival, but at the end of the day, he and Lewis are enduring the same trauma together. They are nothing short of emotional support buddies. So, we were in bed, he clarified. Not in the same bed that we were. So there's no rivalry. They are merely test subject 1, and test subject 2, seeing who can survive in this challenging team the longest. And do you want to know why Lewis's positivity has been rapidly declining this season? Just look at his teammate. In Miami, Charles crashed before the race even started. Even his mechanics were stunned. Then, at Silverstone, he went lawn mowing for 50 laps, crashed into Carlos, and Ferrari inexplicably pitted him for medium tires on a wet track. Typical. And in Hungary, Ferrari performed so poorly that Charles delivered a whole essay of complaints. How is Lewis expected to remain positive when Charles looks so utterly defeated, and you can't even blame him? So, you can imagine the look on my face when I see these incredible geniuses from the Team LH fanbase claiming that Ferrari is sabotaging Lewis. What are you talking about? Ferrari doesn't have the capacity for sabotage. It's simply a matter of incompetence. Moreover, if Ferrari were to plan a perfect sabotage, they've historically only ever managed to sabotage themselves. And what makes you think Ferrari would decide, oh, let's sabotage Lewis, the guy we paid 100 million euros to sign? That makes absolutely no sense. Plus, as an extra nail in a coffin already filled with 50 other nails, here's a sobering statistic. From 2008 to 2025, Ferrari experienced double retirements in 9 of those years. That gives them a yearly double retirement chance of 52, 97%, just 19% less than the notoriously unreliable Williams cars. This is thanks to races like Zandvoort 2025, which began with Max Verstappen overtaking Lando Norris, despite going off track. Then Lewis Hamilton crashed his car, with only himself to blame. It seems the Ferrari makeup team will also have to work on his eyes. Then Carlos Sainz received a penalty for contact with Liam Lawson. Charles overtook George Russell in a move reminiscent of George's own aggressive maneuvers, with Russell exclaiming, "He just turned into me." But 20 laps later, Charles was then taken out by Kimi Antonelli, who probably had his Italian citizenship revoked after that, as Ferrari received yet another double retirement, and Charles sat on the grass for the remainder of the race. Even in failure, this team is still aura farming. But then, on lap 65, Lando Norris's engine blew up, granting Isaac Hadjar his first podium and a demotion threat to Red Bull. As exciting as this race was for everyone except Ferrari fans, I believe what happened here all has to do with Toto Wolff. I wholeheartedly believe this man has been scheming throughout 2025, but I just can't prove it. Here are some examples. Fernando Alonso held up Mercedes in Monaco, and his engine subsequently blew up. Kimi Antonelli collided with Charles Leclerc in Zandvoort, igniting an Italian civil war and taking out Ferrari. Lando Norris's engine failed the one time he didn't make a mistake, taking out McLaren, and Kimi Antonelli again perfectly made contact with Max Verstappen, amidst wild rumors of Antonelli going to Mercedes, leading to Christian Horner's frustration and effectively taking out Red Bull. I hate to say this, but everyone else has been playing chess while Toto has been playing checkers, and we didn't even notice until now. See, I know a lot about F1 team principles. I've done my research. Toto Wolff is a real-life supervillain. Fred Vasseur is a French teddy bear. Now, we all have 2 pressing questions. First, is Lewis Hamilton washed? Well, no clue just yet. I don't want to be one of those people who prematurely labels drivers as washed only to change their minds when they eventually win. But if he is, I'll propose this. Put Nico Rosberg in the other Ferrari car for 3 races, and boom, you'll get a fully re-energized Hamilton. So Ferrari, just bring in Rosberg, and good luck to everybody else. And of course, the final question, why would anyone bother to stay at Ferrari? The answer is quite simple. Ferrari fans, drivers, and staff all share the same mentality. It's only delusional until it works. And it does work sometimes, but it's a cycle that never truly ends. I'm sure Charles knows he could have left Ferrari years ago and performed better. But at the same time, what if Ferrari wins the moment he leaves? That is the invisible leash that keeps him there. Ferrari drivers are enslaved by possibility. In conclusion, the 5 stages of Ferrari grief systematically ruin drivers. Riccardo Adami appears to have been hired for tax relief. Lewis Hamilton is fighting an uphill battle. Charles's makeup team needs to inject more light into his eyes.